Hello everybody, welcome back. This is the first of the detailing videos and it's about a key mark. So I know it's the most hated thing in a car community when you could if you hit something or if you scratch your car, if you drive into something, it's fine, it's your fault, you can live with that. But when someone else chooses to run a sharp metal object down the side of your car, that's not so good. So that is what happened to this car here. It's a 2005 3 Series, and luckily it wasn't that bad. It didn't go through into the colour coat. It was a very, very light key mark and it stayed up in the clear coat. So that's very lucky, although it still doesn't make it any better. And this video is kind of going into how to remove a key mark by wet sanding. So this process is about sanding the mark out with 3000 grit 3M sandpaper is what I used here, and then I used a mini polisher, which is a cordless battery powered polisher, like a drill almost, with a 3-inch. It's a 3-inch as well, and I used Minzerna polish. So it's a pretty long video, and I'll do voiceover and talk you through it, but this is what this video is about. So this is the passenger side over the rear wheel, and you can see these marks aren't even part of the key, they're just the car's character features. So the key, you can about see it there. There we go, up here onto the rear door, and it's quite light, it's only through the clear coat, and it keeps going up here. It ends up going into the door handle. You can see it just going up and into the door handle here, and then they start again from in the door handle and go up a little bit through the front door. You can see these are just all scratches, they're not really part of the key there, and a nasty touch up, and then it ends at the front there. This is the front door and front wing. Now I've done the front wing just to see, and you can see it came out lovely and swirls and everything gone. So now I just have to do that on the rest of the car. So what I'm going to do, because of not only the key mark but just because there's so many scratches up here, is wet sand this whole top part of the door. So let's get to it. So this sandpaper is 3M's 3000, and it should be just about enough for what we're doing here. Alright, so that first wipe, it's always a good idea to wipe it off every so often and see how you're doing. And I'm after learning here that I'm still a long way off getting the key mark out. And it's also after telling me that I'm after going quite hard here and missing out this bit. So I just have to be careful with this edge and try and get it more evenly. So just quickly jumping in here, this is after I kind of did an even wet sand over this whole panel, and then the key mark was still there in a couple of spaces where it was a bit deeper, so I just went after those areas a bit more specifically without worrying about everything else I had done. So that's what's going on right now. Okay, so we're done with the wet sand here, and as you can see, or as you can't see, you can't really see the scratch here anymore, which was that's just a little mark. This, you can't see the scratch, so we flattened it out into the rest of the clear coat, and obviously there are loads and loads of tiny 3000 scratches, which will come out now with a bit of compound. We did the whole door. I ended up, you can see I put some masking tape here. I was getting a bit close. I was getting a bit hard on this edge, on this line here, so I didn't want to blow through that, so I just put some masking tape. You can see down here, this is all bits of clear coat that came out. So the white kind of milky watery thing is clear coat that's actually coming off, which is pretty cool. clean microfiber to wipe it off. Obviously when you're wiping the polish off, it's done now, you don't want to be inserting more scratches, so it's very important this is a clean microfiber that hasn't been used anywhere else. So you remember what it was like up here at the start, and now it is like this. You'll notice it is not swirl free. It's not perfection. There's haze there as well from the compound, but the heavy wet sand marks are gone, which is all I wanted, because this will be getting a full paint correction anyway. Alright, so you saw on the front door how we did the full wet sand on the upper part of the door, which was great because there was lots of scratches, and the same story here on the back door. But on this one I'm going to be much more specific to the scratch itself. Hopefully you can see it when I'm just along here. I'm not going to go mad over the whole thing, partly because I'm going to correct this whole car anyway, but also because I don't trust the paint on this panel as much as I do the front door, because as far as I know the front door hasn't been touched. That's the original paint on the car. This door is unbelievable. There's crazy touch-ups. I know that doesn't mean anything, but it was definitely repaired, and repaired quite badly, because there's terrible texture to the paint down here. So you can see these horizontal lines definitely are not meant to be there. They may be from filler in the past when it was damaged or something, and also there's a leather-like texture just here which definitely isn't meant to be there. So I don't trust the clear coat levels as I would when it was done in the factory. So I'm going to be much more specific to the actual area of the key mark. As you can see here, this is obviously way more specific. I'm using almost those 2 fingers. Trying not to make sort of 2 lines, trying to be as evenly pressured as I can, just make one flat surface to sand. But you can see I'm not using the whole palm and the whole length of my fingers as I was in the previous one. This is much more specific, only going after the scratch itself. Alright, so I'm quite happy with myself now. I kind of proved myself right. This key in the back left door was kind of the worst part of the scratch. It was the deepest, and I told you how I didn't want to go too hard on it. And after just a tiny bit, a minute of 3000, it's completely level. So that tells me that this is very, very soft paint on the back left door. So there you go. I'm saying to myself, that's great. You know, I knew I didn't want to go crazy on this. I want to leave as much as possible, because it's going to come out. It's so soft. It's going to come off much easier. While I work away here getting more of this out, I want to mention as well that when I was polishing, obviously the first on the front door, you do have to polish after the compound. I didn't, because I'm paint correcting this anyway, but that kind of haze and stuff, you have to take that out with polish after you compound always. Okay, so that's the wet sand done. You can kind of see there how I kept it to this little bit here. I also went after some touch-ups because there was way too much excess paint in a lot of them. You remember this one here was massive, and if we can focus it back, that's pretty flat now, so that'll be nice to accept some new touch-up paint. And down here too, see there? So now just compound these few scratches out, and hopefully there will be no more key mark. So Speedy Gonzalez was working here with the mini polisher. This is an AC Delco mini polisher, and it's a 3-inch head. It's like a drill. It's battery powered, and I've got a ShineMate 3-inch pad with Manzerna 400 compound. That's what I'm using to take out these wet sanding marks. And this is done. as you can remember, there the mark was there somewhere, and it is pretty much gone. It's not completely gone. It definitely is still there. I'd say 80% of it is gone, but definitely a lot less visible to the naked eye. Hazy there. This is on the rear left door, the wonky door, and you can just about still see it right there. This is the mark, so it's not completely gone. There we go, but you can hardly see it now with the naked eye, and hopefully some sealant and wax will cover it up even more. Thank you very much for watching. You can see I was very happy with how that turned out. The key is like 90% gone, and you can't see it with just with the naked eye, without funky lights and everything. So very happy with how it turned out, and there will be a full paint correction video on this car coming quite soon as well. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.